Hi, this is Mrs. Stubbs, and I am your U.S. History and Government Specialist. And I am using a U.S. History course for my sample, but they all are pretty much alike, so you can use this for any of them. I have been working with Julian for 11 years now, and I am a high school specialist and also an EF, so I know both sides of the coin, as you could say, and I know what's expected of you from the EF side, but I also know what's expected of you from the specialist side. So let's just dig into this right away, and I want to show you a little bit about Canvas. Canvas is our LMS, or Learning Management System, that we use here at Julian. And if you were with us last year, you will find that this is very familiar. If you, and I've just added some new things. So if you were with me with U.S. History last year and now are in government, there's just a few new things that I'm going to be adding. So please don't think you know everything and not watch, but please watch throughout the entire video, and we'll get this done as soon as we can. So the first thing you want to do, yours will look a little different than mine because mine's a teacher view, yours is a student view. The first thing you want to do is open up your folders. So if these folders are not open, you will want to open them up. And you notice that I have opened every single one of my folders. Okay? This is where you'll find your assignments due online. So we're going to skip down here. You will notice that in Module 1 you have a syllabus quiz. You read the syllabus. In the syllabus it mentions a couple videos to watch. I'll show you where you can find those in a minute. And so you watch the videos, and then you take the quiz. Now, just a little tidbit about this quiz: you have to get 100% in order to move on. So you could take this quiz as many times as you need. Some of the questions are true and false, some of them are multiple choice, and some of them are a fill-in. So you can, see that there's 30 questions. In some of my other classes, there might be less questions. This one happens to have 30. So anyway, that's the only thing due online, but you have other things due during the week, and that would be in the About This Course folder. There's a wealth of information. One of them being, that's where you find the syllabus. Okay, that's where you find this course orientation. And of course, you need to know that in order to watch this course orientation. I'll also send it out in an email. So the AWR is your daily assignment packet, and if you did not receive one from your EF, or a link to it from your EF, it is always available right here. If I make any updates, the most updated one will always be right here. So when you click on the AWR, you see that the whole packet comes up. This is for the entire semester. Now, I've tried to do as much explaining in my AWR, or my daily assignment packet, as possible. So it might look like there's a lot of assignments, but it's I just try to do a lot of explaining. So you first come to objectives. So you know that in Module 1 we're going to be studying the American beginnings to 1877. Just a real quick overview, and it will tell you to read and explore the colonial era. Now, if you're in my 1942 or my 7559 class, which is U.S. History and Government, and they're the college prep course, you will also be taking notes. If you're in the basic courses, you will have workbooks that you work out of instead of taking your own notes. So that's all explained in here. So this kind of explains a little bit about how to take notes. So it looks like a very long assignment, but it's just explaining how to take notes. And then look at the review assessment on page 42, and then make sure your notebook has answered all the terms and names. I'm not asking you to take another separate piece of paper and answer the chapter assessment. I'm just asking you to make sure your notes include all the answers, and then you go back and you highlight them. So I'm not having you do the work twice, in other words. Then it says to do a primary source found in the module folder. So we're going to actually go back to the module folder and go to module 1, and I've opened up my folder, and there is the primary source. Instructions. Here is the actual primary source. So you would click on the primary source instructions, and it would tell you to complete the primary source. You'll notice that every time I click on something, it's going to either take me to assignments, it's going to take me to discussions, quizzes, pages, or files. It depends on where the item I have is in there. So I'm going to always go back to home if I want to see all my modules again. And we're going to click on the actual primary source. So if you notice, it takes a little bit to download, and some computers are slower, some computers are faster, so always be patient. And it tells you that there's 4 pages. So basically, you will read this. It will come up on your computer. Because I'm recording it, it's not coming up right now. That's odd. I will check into that, make sure, but at the very beginning, there'll be a question, and you read the items, and then you answer the questions. So I think it might just be taking a little time to, there we go, taking a little time to download. So always be patient. Here is the think through history question. That's what you're going to be answering when you read this primary source. A primary source is a source that has come straight from the horse's mouth, let's say. So it might be a letter that George Washington wrote himself. If it was something that somebody wrote about the letter that George Washington wrote, then it's a secondary source. So I'm giving you actual primary sources. It might be a fireside talk that Roosevelt actually gave during the war, or something like that. So that's a primary source. So I'm going to go back to home. I want you to see that I have put in your module folders pretty much everything you need. So here is a discussion. That's where you actually get the discussion from. And here's the rubric of how I will grade it. So the rubrics are all within the module folders. That is new for this year. Last year when we started with Canvas, I had the rubrics on the assignment, and on a discussion board you could see it. But in the other ones, the other assignments, if they were connected to turnitin.com, so that you would not have to turn it in yourself to turnitin.com, but it automatically got uploaded for you, my rubric would disappear until I graded it. So that was not fun, because I was constantly sending rubrics to students. And so now I have put them all in the within the module folder. So every time you see an assignment that's due to me that has a rubric, it's right there. Okay? So I've tried to make it very easy. Everything that you should need is in the module folder. However, every once in a while there's something I miss. So if I miss something, email me right away, because I give bonus points to students who bring things up to me that I can verify that I forgot or did something wrong or something. Because, there's a lot there. I have a lot of different classes, and there's a lot of things in each one, and I may have missed something. So please feel free to email me and say, Mrs. Tubbs, I don't see the primary source that you're talking about in the AWR, and I don't see it in module 2. If it, or module 1, or whatever module it's in. If it's definitely not there, if you're the first person that's let me know this, I will give you bonus points. But you have to be the first one. Speaking of the first one, always read your Monday message. It's available at midnight on Monday of the beginning of every week. And I sometimes offer bonus points in the Monday messages. And it tells you how to do things to get bonus points. So the only other way to get bonus, there's 2 other ways to get bonus points. And that is, if you turn in an assignment and it is exceptional, you have gone over and beyond the directions of the assignment, you have followed everything correctly and just done a beautiful job on the assignment, and you've turned it in by the original due date and did not use the grace period even past midnight on the Friday that it is due, I will give you bonus points. So a lot of students in my class will find themselves that they get over 100% because I offer so many bonus points. But there's one other way to get major points. In fact, bring your grade up a whole 2%. And you might think 2%, that's not that much. But if you have a 79% in the class and you get it brought up to 2%, it's an 81. So that goes from a C to a B. We don't give plus and minuses at Julian Charter School. It's not just me. You might get a plus or minus on an assignment, but for an overall grade, our transcripts do not allow for minuses and pluses. So you will definitely love that if it all of a sudden boosted you from a C to a B or a B to an A or an F to a D. So because D is still passing at Julian Charter School, where in some districts they don't count Ds. You have to get a C to pass the class. But in Julian, we do accept Ds. I hope that nobody gets a D. I hope that you all get A's. It is often that I have a class that everybody gets A's. Because if you follow my directions, it's not a hard course, and I promise you'll learn a lot about American government or U.S. history. You'll notice that I have a project-based course. So in my AWR that we were looking at earlier, you will never find an assignment that says, do the questions at the end of the chapter, or, because I just want you to make sure your notes have them in it. I don't do those and I don't do multiple choice tests except for one midterm in my U.S. history course. And it's a benchmark, and it was added this year. In about module, I'm going to look at this. There it is. It's in module 12, benchmark exam. So you will take that. It's multiple choice. It's the only multiple choice exam you'll have except for your final exam and your syllabus quiz at the very beginning. Okay, so couple other little things before we run out of time. The discussion board is important that you answer the prompt completely. Okay, so you want to make sure that you answer your prompt completely. And for example, the first one in this class is, as the Constitution proposed that there was much debate between anti-federalists and federalists regarding the powers of our central government should have their, and I'm not going to read this all because this only allows me to do a 15-minute screencast. So anyway, the most important thing is when you answer it in complete sentences. Grammar does count. And also, if you read up here, it's a minimum of 5 sentences. I would give you a hint. Never write just 5 sentences, because sometimes you might write a fragment and then you get points off because you really didn't have 5 sentences. You had 4. Or you rewrite the question. That's not answering the question. If you're doing part 2 of the prompt down here, which is the second week, it says you have to write a minimum of 3 sentences. Again, that only counts if you're building upon your peer's response. So you're responding to a peer's post, and you have to build upon or refute it. So, which is like a rebuttal. The 3 minimum sentences cannot say, good job. Yes, you can say good job, but that does not count towards building up the person's post or adding to it. So make sure your 3 sentences, if you only write 3 sentences, make sure it's good 3 sentences that are building upon your peer's post. Okay, so let's see what else I want to talk about here. If you're in basic, you don't have discussions, so you will not be seeing that. Sometimes in your AWR, you'll have assignments that are just due to your EF. These assignments, when it is a worksheet, it will be in here. For this timeline, not only have I given you a rubric, I've given you a checklist to make sure you have everything before you turn it in. So make sure you are looking at everything that's in the folder. And I am looking forward to a great year. I hope that you guys are too. See you at finals or before if we run into each other. Bye-bye.